Hi, I'm Bill and welcome. Before we get started, I'm always curious about the audience, and I'm curious what brought you to astrophotography. So, if you wouldn't mind just taking a couple of moments to leave a comment and share what brought you into astrophotography, that would be greatly appreciated. For me, I had a passion for portrait photography, and I was just starting to get into birds in flight photography as well. And this is an image I took, I don't know, 2018 or something. But anyway, I'm always curious what led you on this journey. All right, today we're going to talk about my image of the Iris Nebula. This is my reveal, and this is version 1. While I shot both luminous and RGB data, this version right now is just the RGB. And Johnny Bravo, if you happen to be watching this video, thank you for sharing your workflow on how to incorporate luminous with RGB. When I get comfortable enough with that workflow, then I will do the second version of this image, which will incorporate the luminous data into it. And I'm still trying to figure out, I heard one person say, if you're in a hurry, shoot luminous and add it into RGB. If you're not, just shoot straight RGB. So what I'm going to be doing the next few times out when I'm shooting an RGB target is I will shoot both luminous and RGB, but I'll process each independently. I'll do RGB and then I'll incorporate the luminous into the RGB, and then I'll do some stare and glare to see if I really notice that much difference, and then figure it out from there. So my mind is still open on that. If you have any thoughts on that in general, share your thoughts in the comments as well. That'd be appreciated. So as far as the technical details for this, let's go into Astrobin, and you'll find a link to Astrobin, my Astrobin, in the video description. I captured this data again with my EdgeHD 8. I was using the .7x reducer, so a focal length around 1422 millimeters and a focal ratio of f7. I used the ASI 533mm Pro. I'm a monochrome shooter. My mount was the Skywatcher EQ6R Pro, and I'm still using the first set of ZWO RGB filters that I purchased at a really like $125, I think, for the 3. I know there are a lot better filters, at least that's what I'm told. I just haven't made that a priority when it comes to available budget. It's not a priority in upgrading my filters right now. I'm living with what I have. My computer that I used, mini computer, is the Primalucci Labs Eagle 5S, running nighttime imaging and astronomy, NINA. I'm also using the ZWO electronic autofocuser. However, in February, I'll be ordering the Primalucci Labs Asato 2-inch low-profile focuser, so that focuser will then be in line in my image train. And again, as you saw, probably I'm processing my data in PixInsight. If you use other processing tools and you want to take a moment and note that in the comments, so others who may be reading the comments can become aware of other tools as well, please take a moment to do that. It'd be greatly appreciated. There are many different tools for processing your data. I believe this is a have it your way hobby, so each of us should use the tools that best fit our own needs. As to the acquisition detail, my standard is for RGB right now at a minimum is an hour and 30 minutes per filter, and I shoot at 180-second exposures. So that led me to 30 3-minute exposures per filter for a total of 4 hours and 30 minutes. Now again, I was shooting up, collecting the data at Blue Canyon Airport up in the Sierras. It's a Bortle 3+ site. So to me that's very favorable, and I might be able to get away with shorter integration times than you may be able to get away with if you're shooting in higher Bortles, and in particular in Bortle 7.8. But you'll always find my technical details for my images in my Astrobin. At least all images going forward, I take the time to put the data there. I know it's very helpful to me when other imagers take the time to put in the technical details, because it kind of gets me in the ballpark when I'm shooting a new image, what kind of I should be looking at as far as expected integration time to pull out the detail that I'd like to pull out for the images. So let's go back into PixInsight and let's step through the workflow. And we'll kind of move this here, and we'll expand this a bit. I think we can move that over a little bit. Now, something here as I'm looking back through the workflow, although it looks like these things I did in December 26 in 2023. Okay. So what's not clear to me is I don't see where I ran Grexpert. For some reason it's not showing up in the history here. I'm pretty sure I did. And then so I thought I did a channel combination and then ran Grexpert, but maybe I ran it on the individual R, the G, and the B. That part's unclear to me, but normally I would run some type of gradient removal with my RGB images. Again, a lot of it depends on where I'm imaging from, and so oftentimes there may not be a lot of gradients present, although people will tell you technically there's always some gradient present, but at least for my eye, you know, maybe I didn't see a gradient, so I didn't run the process. Then I did a color calibration, and then I ran Blur Exterminator. Love this tool. Then I ran Star Exterminator, which allowed me to remove the stars from the image. And then I ran Noise Exterminator on the starless image. And I think I probably tweaked the stretch a little bit. I'm not quite sure. And then I did a histogram transformation to make that stretch permanent in a non-linear image. And then I ran Noise Exterminator again. I did another histogram transformation. Interesting, I don't see curves in here either. I did a local histogram equalization. I do 2 passes. My understanding is there's the finer structures and then there's the larger structures. So I run through it twice with changing this parameter here. So there it's 40 and here it's 125, the radius. And then I did a multi-scale median transform. I created a mask, a sharpening mask, and then I kind of feathered the edges through the parameters I set, and then I did a histogram transformation. what's really curious is I don't see where I did the curves. So I'll have to look back through this. And then ran pixel math, and here is the key expression that I use to bring the stars back together with the image. But I also do a stretch of the stars before I combine, and during that stretch I can kind of tweak the stars a little bit as far as how prominent they are when I bring those stars back in. And then I just change the image identifier, and then I run the ICC profile transformation to when I export in JPEG it's in the color profile space that I want to use for posting things on the web. So looking through this here, I got a couple of questions on what I did as far as curves and everything, because I was pretty sure I'm pretty sure I ran that. Okay, not sure. And another thing I did not do was I did not run the deep structure enhancement on this image. So anyway, this is my first version of the Iris Nebula, data collected on the 12th of September 2023. I still have a backlog of data that I'm working on to produce the images. Now that I have a better idea on what a proper workflow is for both RGB and narrowband filters, based upon the training that I did with Ron Breacher, aka Astrodoc. So I'm trying to catch up, and I will be revealing each of those images in future videos as I get them done. All right, I think that's about it. If you want to share your comments on what you think I could have done better here, or how you maybe would have done this differently, let me know. I'm not, there's some darker areas here. I tried to enhance the blue illumination from the blue star, as I understand it. That's a blue star. But when you get to this point, after you collect your data and now you're in the image processing portion of the hobby, it's all personal interpretation and what standards you may have as far as image quality and appearance and all that. So I'm happy with it. My next version will incorporate the luminous data in, and then I can do a stare and glare between the two images and see what's noticeable about the two. And I realize when I'm building the second, or version 2, I may tweak some things differently through the different processes that I use. But I'll try and do my best to make it as uniform as possible. So again, my version of the Iris Nebula. All right, I hope you're looking towards some good weather for the February new moon. I know I'm going to be back in Arizona for several days. Right now the forecast looks great, but we're so far out, things are going to change, but it'll be what it'll be. Other than that, thank you for dropping into the channel. See you next time.